Have you ever wondered how those filters on your phone's camera work? Or, how a game of chess actually keeps track of where all the pieces are? Well, the secret is this really powerful concept in C programming that lets us organize data into grids. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that secret, the two-dimensional array.
Just for a second, picture a spreadsheet, a digital photo, or even a simple game of tic-tac-toe. What's the one thing they all have in common? They're all grids, right? Rows and columns. A simple, one-dimensional list of data just can't handle that kind of structure. You need something more, something that gets both width and height.
And yeah, this really gets to the heart of the problem. A one-dimensional array is kind of like a single line of text. It's awesome for simple lists, don't get me wrong, but it's totally flat. To build something with both height and width, you need a new tool in your C programming toolkit, one that can handle both of those dimensions at the same time.
So what is this big secret? What's the magic behind this powerful tool? Well, it's actually surprisingly simple, and it's been hiding in plain sight this whole time. A two-dimensional array is really just an array of other arrays.
This right here is the main idea you gotta grasp. A 2D array isn't some brand new, super complex thing built from scratch. Nope. It's just a collection of regular one-dimensional arrays, all the same size, stacked up nice and neat to create a table.
And this visual just makes it crystal clear, doesn't it? Over on the left, you see three separate one-dimensional arrays. Now, when we just stack them up, boom, they form that 3x3 grid on the right. It's really that simple. A 2D array is just a stack of 1D arrays, where each one of those 1D arrays is a single row. Now, in the programming world, and especially if you're into math, there's another name for this grid-like structure, a matrix. So whenever you hear someone talking about a 2D array, you can just think matrix in your head. The two terms are pretty much used interchangeably.
Okay, so we get the concept, right? Now it's time to actually get our hands dirty with some C code. How do we tell the computer, hey, I need you to build one of these powerful grids for me? Let's find out.
The syntax for declaring a 2D array is kind of like a recipe with four main ingredients. First, you say what kind of data you're storing, like int for integers. Then, you give your array a name. And here's the magic part. You use two sets of square brackets. The first one tells the computer how many rows you want, and the second one tells it how many columns.
Let's look at a real-world example. This single line of code right here creates an integer array called sales data, and it's got 3 rows and 4 columns. That gives us a total of 12, that's just 3 times 4, individual spots to store our data. See? Simple and to the point.
All right, so we've built our container, but how do we actually put stuff in it and get it back out? How do we find one specific little piece of data in our big grid? Let's take a look.
The key to getting at elements in a 2D array is to think of it like a game of Battleship. You can't just say, give me the 5th element. Nope. Every single cell has a unique address, a specific combo of its row and its column, and you have to call out its exact coordinates.
Just like finding a cell in a spreadsheet, we use coordinates. You use the array's name, then the row index goes in the first set of brackets, and the column index goes in the second. And please, don't forget the golden rule of C programming. Indexing always starts at 0.
So let's put this into practice. Say you want the value 1. Well, that's at row 0, column 0, so we write a square 0, 0. What about the value 6? Well, that's located at row 1, column 2, so we use a square 1, 2. It's a really simple, logical system for grabbing any value you want from the grid.
So accessing one element at a time is great and all, but the real power of a matrix comes alive when we work with the whole thing at once. Like, what if we want to print out every single value in our grid? To do that efficiently, we need a special programming trick.
This quote right here, this holds the key to processing 2D arrays. What it means is we basically work our way through the array row by row. We start at the first row and we visit every single column in that row from left to right. Then we move down to the second row and do the exact same thing. It's called row major order, and it's the most efficient way to do it because it's how C actually stores the data in memory.
So how do we pull this off? With a fantastic tool, nested loops. You have an outer loop that just walks you through the rows one at a time, and for each of those rows, the inner loop kicks in and takes you through all the columns inside that row. It's a simple but an incredibly effective way to make sure you visit every single element in your grid one by one. All right, enough theory, let's see some actual code. Here's a complete C program that uses those nested loops we were just talking about to both fill up and then display a 2D array. This is where it all comes together. Just take a quick look at this code. You'll see two sets of those nested loops. The first set, up top, uses the variables t for the row and I for the column to go through every single spot and assign it a value. Then the second set of loops does the exact same walkthrough, but instead of assigning values, it uses printf to display them on the screen.
And here's the payoff. As you can see, our code generated a perfectly formatted 3x4 grid. This is the direct result of our nest loops, which just systematically visited and printed each element row by row, column by column. Pretty cool, right?
So what's the big takeaway here? Well, you now have the power to create and work with grid-based data in C. This literally opens up a whole new dimension of programming possibilities. You can build game boards, you can create data visualizations, you could even get crazy and venture into the third dimension with 3D arrays. The only limit really is your imagination. So the question is, what are you going to build next?